All right, so this video is extremely important. I don't recommend launching your first campaign until you've watched this video. So this video is going to be about bidding. I'm going to tell you what I've seen in my experience works, and also going to explain bidding so you know what you're actually doing when you start to run Google Ads, right? So when you think about Google Ads, it's basically a numbers game. It's not that creative. You just need to look at stats and decide whether to kill or resume a product. So the most important component is the bid that you set for each product. And so the bid that you set is the maximum amount you're willing to pay for each click. So if you have a 50-cent bid, Google Ads is going to place you in the auction where 50 cent will be your max. If you're running enhanced CPC, which is another bid strategy, it can be over 20% of whatever your max CPC is, but I'll talk about that later. So the bid that you set determines which keywords you show up for, right? So if you're bidding high on a product, right, that product will display ads for more competitive keywords, right? So if like you're advertising like a whiteboard, for example, like the most competitive keyword will be like buy whiteboard 80 centimeters by 60 centimeters, right? That's extremely competitive because the prospect knows exactly the size of the whiteboard that he wants to buy. So it's really lower funnel. So the lower that you bid, the less competitive the keywords are, right? So a lower bid for whiteboards could be like best whiteboards for small offices, because that is a query that is higher in the funnel, which means that prospects aren't that close to making up their minds. Like they're still sort of researching. So if they're in the research phase, the keywords competitiveness is less. So the higher you bid, the more your ad will appear for searches, right? So that's how you basically scale a product, is you bid higher, is you set your bid higher. But the thing is that the higher that you bid, the more likely you are to become unprofitable, because you're paying more for each click. But if you bid too low, then you can run into the problem where your ads won't appear enough or you won't be served enough, right? So it's difficult to scale. So what we need to do, like what we're ultimately trying to do for each product, is we need to find a bid sweet spot. So that's a profitable balance where the bid isn't too high that it's unprofitable and isn't too low that we're not getting enough volume, right? So we're trying to find the perfect bid that allows us to maximize our profit. So I've got here, the sweet spot is dynamic. So this means that like, say you're extremely profitable on a product with like a 48-cent bid, right? In like a week or 2 weeks time, that same bid could potentially become unprofitable. And that's because other advertisers are also bidding as well. So it's dynamic, right? So we need to change our bids on an ongoing basis. I recommend adjusting your bids once or twice a week. It depends on the volume. If you're running like, say, a test campaign with a strong budget, like $100 a day or over $50 a day, then it's probably best to do it 2 times a week. If you're running your test campaign on like a small budget, like $10 a day, then like you can only change the bid once a week, right? Because you need to wait for data to collect, right? It'll take like 7 days for you to view any changes. All right, so a path that a lot of people get stuck on is they don't know what to set for their bids, right? So when you're trying to decide your bids, there are 3 things that you want to consider. So the product price and the product profit margin, right? So the profit margin of the product is how much you're selling it on your Shopify store minus like the AliExpress costs minus shipping, right? And the average conversion rate for Google Ads. So usually the average conversion rate for Google Ads, it's product specific. So like on some of my winning products, I've got a conversion rate of like 2%. Then other products have got a conversion rate of like 6%. So it varies a lot depending on the product. So I've got an example down here that shows you how Google Ads is just a numbers game and where you should set your bids. Like I don't recommend like trying to work out where to set your bids for every single product. I'll get onto that later when we actually show you how to do the campaign setup and set your bids. So let's say we're selling a product on AliExpress, right? So let's just use the same example again. So it's a whiteboard, right? So the product on AliExpress, it costs us $20 and then we sell it on our store for $40. So this means that our profit is $20, right? So this is our gross profit, right? Because we're not taking into account any advertising expense, like we haven't sold it yet, right? So there's $20 gross profit, right? Not including any other expenses. So let's assume that your average Google Ads conversion rate for this product is 2%, or it should be for this ad account. So just take the average of all your products in Google Ads. Let's just assume it's 2%, right? This means 2 in every 100 clicks will purchase the product. So that means we get 2 sales for every 100 clicks. So this means we generate $40 profit for every 100 clicks, right? Because there's 2 sales and our profit is $20. So 2 times 20 is 40, right? So in 100 clicks, we generate a total of $40 profit. So this means that those 100 clicks need to cost us less than $40 if we still want to profit after we pay our Google advertising expense, right? So that means we need to work out what's the maximum cost per click that we can pay, right? So to do that, you just divide $40 by 100 clicks, and that gives us 40 cents, right? So that means that 40 cents is our max bid for that product to break even. So if we set our bid for that product at 40 cents, right? We're not gonna make any profit, we're not gonna make any loss. We're just gonna break even, right? So if we decide to increase our bid over 40 cents, so for example, if we change our bid to 50 cents, then it's impossible to be profitable, right? Given the conversion rate. If this conversion rate was higher, then we can become profitable. And the way to increase conversion rate is by optimizing your product feed, titles, getting better quality images, building out the description. But coming back to here, we have to bid below 40 cents to be profitable, right? So if our bid was set at 30 cents, we'd be profitable, we'd be making money. So that is an overview of how Google Ads is just a numbers game, right? You just got to find the sweet spot where you're profitable with your bid. Another thing to remember is that we don't always have to raise the bid. So if you're breaking even on a product or you're slightly unprofitable, there's other things you can do. So instead of raising the bid, you can increase the product price in Shopify. So bump it up a pricing tier. So instead of selling a product for like $24.99, you can sell it for $29.99. Another thing you can do is bundle the product. So a good app to do this is discounted pricing by Booster apps. So that's where you give a discount if they buy more than one of the product. And then you can also create a post-purchase upsell using one-click upsell app by Zipify, which isn't available on the Shopify app store. You've got to Google it to find it. But these are ways that you can get products profitable if they're breaking even on Google Ads and you can't increase the bid. So an important thing to know is that whenever you make a bid adjustment, right, it usually takes like 5 days to properly adjust, right? And you should always wait at least 4 to 5 days before changing the bid again. So say if you make a bid increase, that's like you increase the bid by 3 cents, right? You want to not touch it again for 4 or 5 days because what happens is this, right? So on the bottom, we'll put days. This is 0. Right, this is 10 days, say, and up here, this is the bid, right? Up here, bid. So say this is like 20 cents, 25 cents, 30 cents, right? So say on this day here, right? We've got a product and we're currently bidding 20 cents on that product. And on this 0 day here, we decide to increase the bid to 30 cents, right? So what you'd assume happens is that on this 0 day here, we increase the bid and then the next day it's on 30 cents, right? And it goes like this. So that doesn't happen, right? If we increase the bid from 20 cents to 30 cents on this 0 day, this is how it looks. The bid gradually increases like this, and will come up to about 30 cents on like the 5th, 6th, or 7th day, right? So that's why you shouldn't make any more changes to the bid here. Because what happens is, let's say if on this day here, you're like, oh shit, I'm bidding 30 cents, but it's still only 25 cents. I want to put it up higher. And then you jack it up to like 35 cents, right? What happens is this will do this again. And it's still going to take a while to hit 35 cents. And the same thing happens if you try and reduce the bid, right? So say if on this day here, the product was unprofitable and you said, oh shit, I want to drop it back down to 20 cents. When you change the bid, it's not going to drop like this and then be at 20 cents for the remaining 5 days. What's going to happen is you'll drop the bid, but the bid will actually drop over time, right? Over a matter of like 5 days, right? So don't go changing the bids like at every 2 days or something, because you're just going to muck it all up. So you need to wait like at least 5 days to see what's happening. All right, so when you're adjusting bids, you want to do them in really small increments, right? So Like I recommend like increasing or decreasing the bid by anywhere between 3 cents to 10 cents. Ideally, you want to do it like probably 3 to 5 cents. You can do bigger jumps, like 5 to 10 cents if the product isn't getting that many impressions. Or like if the product is getting no impressions and you want to bump it up quickly and get data, then you can do like 20-cent jumps. But I would never do like over 20-cent jumps, just referring back to this again, because it takes a while for stuff to ramp up. And so when you launch a Google Shopping campaign or a new product within a Google Shopping campaign, yeah, so I mentioned before, it takes time to ramp up, right? In the beginning stages of your campaign, Google shows your ads conservatively, so it doesn't show your ads as much as it possibly could because it wants to see how users respond to them. Like, are they clicking on them? Are they going to your website? How long are they spending on your website? And then as metrics improve and Google starts to understand how many people like are going onto your site, then it will start to show your ads more frequently because it knows where to put you in the auction. And yeah, you'll get shown for more relevant queries, right? So at the start, like say if you start off with a 40-cent bid for all your products, it's not like you're going to turn your campaign on and your clicks will just go like this. Like that's not what's going to happen. It's going to be more like this. Like your clicks will come up over time and it will take like, like up to like a week to sort of ramp up to get to a stable level. So just remember that. And then I got here, so unlike Facebook ads, where you have a small number of winning products or even like one massive winning product that generates you all your revenue, in Google Ads, it's more like you can have lots of like small winning products that generate smaller amounts of revenue. So it's like not every single product is scalable, but you can still have like smaller products that generate you profit consistently, but you can't really scale them. So on my store right now, I've got like 14 products that are profitable. And out of those 14 products that are profitable, I've got like 5 that I can scale, which I'm scaling currently. So yeah, so like the aim of the game is just to get as many products uploaded to your site and tested. And this is like why it's so important to, when you start making a bit of profit, to get a VA to help you with the product uploads, because the more products you upload and the more profitable products you have, it's more likely that you're going to be able to generate consistent profits ongoing. Another thing to remember is that winning products die out eventually as well. So you constantly have to be searching for new products to upload, right? Because yeah, products die out and you want to get freshly uploaded products to keep your profit stable.